the fox has no rights. The only rights the fox has got are the ones I give the fox.
What I believe is that God has allowed it for you to eat it, and I don't see any harm. Unless you can prove me that there's harm in veganism, that you shouldn't be a vegan.
So you're saying that God put animals here for us to consume?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say if that was the case, if God just wanted animals just to be flesh for us to eat.
Not just eat. Horses for us to ride on.
Sure.
Yeah.
If they're just here for us, then why did He give them the capacity to suffer and a will to live?
Sorry, what?
Why did God give these animals a capacity to suffer and a will to live?
How do we know they have the will to live? For example, like predators, right? Animals eat animals.
Yes.
Right? So they still eat them for food purposes, right?
But animals also eat their own babies, so we can't look at what animals are doing to each other and justify our behaviour.
Yeah, we have a choice, right? We have a will that we can eat them or not eat them. We can choose to eat them or not.
Yeah, and I can choose whether to slap a woman in the face. So just because I can choose to do it doesn't justify
obviously
it.
Not, yeah.
So I'm looking for the moral justification, and I would just ask you again, like, why would God give them the capacity to suffer, to scream in pain, if they're just here for us? Why not make them objects?
So you think animals and humans are same?
You don't need to believe that the chicken is of equal value to you in order not to enslave the chicken. You just need to believe that their life is worth more than our taste buds.
Maybe it was the food chain.
Are you not saying that might makes right? Are you part of the food chain?
Food chain, yes.
So would it be acceptable for me to kill you because you're part of the food chain?
If you're a cannibal, and if the system between the system that we have, if we look at if we justify cannibalism in humanity, maybe yes.
Well, other animals, black widows, they eat each other, so it can be part of the food chain to eat your own species.
So you're saying we shouldn't be relied upon any other species except ourselves and plants? So is there any other species like humans or anything that actually rocks eats that does not need to exploit any other species?
But that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant because other animals also don't fly planes. Like
either we are part animal and we have to accept that, and how we.
Okay, but we are part animal. But you can't then say I'm going to justify doing what other animals do because I'm an animal. Well, other animals rape each other. They eat their own babies.
They have their own system. Humans, they behave. We behave our own way. With
of course we do.
With the higher social values that we have because of the higher
So do you agree? Do you agree that just because other animals do it, that doesn't justify me doing it?
No, we have our own system.
Right.
What do you believe is justified? How come it is justified to eat a plant? Still, it's a species. It's a living system.
Sure, but there's no evidence that a plant is sentient.
So the problem is being being them sentient is the problem.
Yeah, like
what animals that are. Let me think. Or the fish that
they're sentient. Yeah. So like when we're determining whether we should give someone moral value or something moral value, we have to say, is it like something to be that thing? So I can say it's something like to be you. You can feel the sun on you. You can feel pain. You can feel pleasure. You have a will to live. I can say that about a bat. It's something like to be that bat, but it's nothing like to be that bike. There's no one there experiencing anything, and that's what it's like with trees and plants. It's nothing like to be a tree, so therefore they don't deserve moral value.
Egg is it a sentient? But it is a cellular form.
Sure. So an egg isn't sentient, but it comes from the exploitation of a sentient creature, and therefore it's wrong. So we're exploiting a sentient being there. If the product doesn't involve any harm or exploitation to a sentient creature, there's no ethical issue.
What about the economical system, or how it works, and how every human works? What's your solution?
We can't justify the exploitation and harm to animals based on the fact that someone's making monetary gain. People were making monetary gain from owning plantations and slavery. People lost their jobs when we abolished slavery. So the fact that someone's making profit doesn't justify the exploitation to the vulnerable being.
I want to support sustainable farming, but that comes down to a capitalist system. Where can I find sustainable farm? Where can I buy meat sustainably? You know, it's like, you know, it's fucked. Like.
Sure, but forgetting about the environmental stuff for a second, just the act of killing an animal, how do we justify that if we don't need to?
Well, we're carnivores, unfortunately. We're omnivores. People need to eat meat. Like.
We don't. But that's the thing. We don't need to. We don't need to. We know the science is behind us that we can be healthy on a vegan diet.
But you can also be healthier if you eat red meat, unfortunately.
Well, red
You
meat.
can substitute it, but
No, you
there's
could-
a lot of nutrients and in red meat. Like it's
So what nutrient can you get from meat that I can't get from a vegan diet?
iron.
I can get iron from leafy greens, chickpeas,
Yeah, but
lentils.
you can also get. You can have like a nice steak with some steamed broccoli. And you can get so much iron. Like
Yeah, but you can get all of your recommended iron from either diet. How can we justify not being vegan today?
meat's delicious.
Does sensory pleasure, is sensory pleasure a good enough justification to hurt an animal?
Everyone has a vice. We all drink. We all smoke.
But if I drink, I'm not necessarily hurting anyone else. If I stab an animal, I am.
You're hurting yourself, aren't you?
But we should.
Everything
That's
has,
different.
like-
There's a difference between me hurting myself and me hurting someone else.
But everything you're going to do is going to have a ripple effect where it's going to get negative effect somewhere.
That's an appeal to futility, though. That's saying because I can't live a life where I'm not causing some harm, I might as well kill an animal. That's not a good justification.
It's not about that. It's like everything you do. Like look at your jacket, man. It's probably made in China from some sweatshop.
But I just made the point though. You're saying because I can't live a perfect life, I might as well kill an animal. If I was to put that in a different context and I had a dog in front of you and I was going to stab the dog and you said stop doing it and I was like, what about your shirt? You'd say that's irrelevant. Don't stab the dog. So if I replaced it with a pig, it's the same logic.
People that work in abattoirs like love their job because they kill animals all day. Like,
Or definitely not. My dad works in one. It's not so. People who work in abattoirs have high rates of PTSD, high rates of depression, usually from ethnic minority groups. So, but my point is, how do we morally justify killing the animal? Because the blood is on our hands, not them. We're paying, and that someone has to do that. If we're going to buy the flesh, someone has to do that.
I think it comes back down to sustainable farming. I think we should.
But it's nothing to do with sustainability. We're talking about the ethics of killing an animal, even one animal, if you don't need to.
So I become vegan. Cows live, then the cows die. What are we going to do with the dead cows?
The reason there are billions of cows every year is because we're artificially breeding them.
Yeah.
So if we stopped eating them, we'd stop breeding them, and there wouldn't be a surplus of cows.
It's just life.
Yeah,
Like,
but that's not an argument.
Yeah, because we could say the same thing for human exploitation.
it is.
There's
There's nothing we can do about it.
There is, because this is happening because of us. It's supply and demand.
Children are getting sold into sex slavery right now in South.
Yeah, and what if I was buying a sex slave and you said to me, don't do that, and I said, it's just life, it's society, what do you want me to do?
Well, there's nothing I could really do, isn't there?
No, but you'd say, but I am supporting the industry by buying it.
I mean, so he would morally be like, I'm not going to buy this sex slave because I don't want this to continue to happen. The less people buying the sex slave,
The less they use.
the less they're going to exploit children.
If you let them go, they'll start to die.
No. So what I'm advocating for is that we stop breeding animals into existence. At the
We
moment,
should stop eating them.
yeah, we stop
But
breeding.
we feed them first. If you don't feed them, they die.
No. So
Let them all go from your farm.
no, that's not what I'm saying though.
They all die away.
So that's a straw man fallacy. What I'm saying is that if we stop buying the products, they breed less and less animals until we stop breeding the billions of animals into existence.
There will not be any chicken in the United Kingdom. We
look.
need them, and then they need
No,
us.
we don't need them. It's a choice.
If you don't look after them, there will be very few of them in population.
Look,
on
to
Earth.
the individual chicken in a factory farm, it is of no consolation to that being that there are billions of them being bred in factory farms. It makes no difference to their suffering or the injustice of taking their life away.
Human suffering as well. You think?
Sorry?
Human is suffering. Everyone's suffering.
Yeah.
You're suffering. They're
And
suffering.
look,
Nobody is happy on Earth.
whatever you're doing to help humans, you can keep doing that. It doesn't take anything away from that to not hurt an animal.
Listen, they're not killing for no reason. You just said it.
It's
You're
an
wrong.
unnecessary reason.
Unnecessary. Eating is not unnecessary.
You could eat something else.
It is necessary.
You could eat something else.
Eating is a very
Okay.
good reason to kill an animal.
So I can kill you and eat you.
I'm not an animal.
You are an animal.
You're insulting me.
You are an animal.
I repeat again. You're insulting.
It's a fact.
Go away then. I don't talk to you.
You're a
Move away.
You're a mammal.
Please, move away.
I was here before
You're
you.
insulting. You're insulting.
It's a fact. It's not an
Mind your
insult.
language.
I'm an animal too.
Mind your language.
I'm an animal too.
I don't care what you call yourself. Don't call me an animal.
We are all animals.
You said you should be.
Everyone should
now,
be.
is this a moral should? Is it political or a practical should?
I'm talking about
Or is it a religious
ethics.
should?
Ethics.
It's a moral should.
Regardless
Well,
of religion.
All right, so what are the moral arguments for being a vegan?
So,
Can there be moral arguments for being a vegan?
well, let me ask you this: is there a moral argument for me not stabbing a dog right now?
2 hours later.
Why is it moral to eat the dog?
Because it's not a moral problem.
That's not answering my question. Why is
it's not a moral problem?
I'm asking you, why is it moral to do this act? And you're saying because it's not a moral problem.
It's not a moral problem.
That's not answering my question.
It is exactly the question.
No.
Morals,
Okay. Ask me.
Let me listen. Morals, ethics, and this word here only applies to language speakers. Only applies to language.
I'm asking you, and you speak. I'm asking you, and you speak the language.
Yeah.
So what's your point?
I couldn't hurt him because it would be wrong to, and he and I both agree that eating other people would be wrong. But even that doesn't apply in the case of cats, dogs, cows, fish, sheep. Ethics applies to him, not to the dog.
Okay, so can I torture a horse?
Well, we would probably stop you.
No, but is it moral for me to torture a horse?
Well, some people do torture horses.
You're not answering my question. I'm gonna stab a dog in the throat, not torture them, but stab them and eat them.
Yeah.
Is there anything do you think is ethically wrong with that?
No.
But it's wrong for me to stab and kill you?
Yeah.
Why?
Because both you and I can understand the use of this word should.
Okay, I'll find...
We have language.
Okay,
I have rights, you have rights. The dog doesn't have rights unless I give the dog rights.
I am going to find a mentally disabled human who hasn't got language, who doesn't understand what's going on. Yeah. Can I kill them?
No.
So it's not because you have language and because you understand what's going on. Let me ask you this, because you think that humans shouldn't be stabbed at all, but dogs and cats and cows and chickens can be. So what is the difference, the trait difference between you and a pig that justifies that difference in treatment?
I have rights, the pig doesn't.
Where women don't have the right not to be stoned to death in Saudi Arabia, is that acceptable?
What's that again?
You can stone a woman to death, and they haven't got the right to
That's the law. Well, that might be the law. The law might tolerate that, but
it's still wrong.
Wait. The law might tolerate that.
Yes.
And that would be right morally. You and I, because our morals are different, might think that immoral.
I asked you, what is the trait difference between you and a pig that justifies that difference in treatment? And you said, it's because I have rights. Well, a long time ago, black people didn't have rights in the UK or in America. Yeah. So it can't be the fact that they don't have rights. Otherwise, we should never have changed. We should never abolish slavery. There has to be something intrinsic in the animal that is different to you, that justifies that difference in treatment. What is the trait? What is it about the pig that makes it okay to kill them?
They're less intelligent.
Okay, so...
I think it's simpler. We want to eat it.
It tastes real nice as well.
Yes, exactly. The difference is we want to eat it.
Okay, that's the trait difference.
We like the bacon.
Okay, so if I enjoy the way you taste, it's acceptable for me to kill you?
No, it's different.
Okay,
so it's a moral relationship.
Wait, so it's not
by the law.
So you said
I don't have a moral relationship with a pig.
Look.
I don't have a moral relationship with a dog or a cat.
You said it's morally acceptable to kill an animal because this is the reason. Because you like the way they taste. That is what makes it morally acceptable.
Well, you said that.
No. I'm vegan. Look, that's what you said. You said it's morally acceptable because we like the way it tastes. Okay, if that's what makes the act acceptable, that's it. I'm going to put that in a different context. I like the way you taste. Therefore,
your relationship with him is a moral one.
You're saying that the fact that you get pleasure, you said the reason that it's acceptable is because it gives you pleasure.
Yeah.
Okay, so then if that gives me pleasure, it's acceptable. If you disagree with that, then it's not that it gives you pleasure. That's not the justification.
Moral obligations to animals begin with me. The animal itself has no rights. If I want to give the animal rights, fine. If I want to give rights to a gorilla or a chimp, and people have been talking about that, that's fine.
They already do have rights.
I give them rights.
No, you don't. You have nothing to do with the rights. It's illegal for me to kill a gorilla. They have rights.
Now, you might say that fox hunting is immoral because it's killing an animal when you don't need to.
Yeah.
And I would tend to sympathise with that point of view. Nonetheless, the fact remains that some time ago it was lawful to go hunting foxes.
Yeah. But would you say fox hunting is wrong by your standards?
What, today?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I would. I think it's
okay. Why is it wrong?
I think it's just a childish activity.
But why is the act wrong?
Because I think that it's nothing to do with the fox. I think my own view is that grown-up men who find entertainment in hunting an animal the size of a cat are childish.
Okay,
they should grow up and find something more interesting to do. That's what I think of fox hunting.
If we're talking about morality.
But as for the fox has no rights. The only rights the fox has got are the ones I give the fox.
Look,
if I say to the fox, you have rights, then the fox has rights.
Look.
But the fox can't say to me, don't eat me. He has no rights. The pig can't say to me, don't eat me. The pig has no rights.
When we're talking about morality, we're only looking at the well-being of conscious creatures. That's what we're talking about. So You can't say it's wrong because they're childish. That's not about ethics. That's just your opinion on whether someone's being childish.
I told you, I said to you, I made absolutely clear in front of all my witnesses that I was expressing a personal view.
No, you said it's wrong. But I asked you, is it morally wrong by your standards to hunt foxes?
No, it's not. Sometimes the farmer has to shoot the foxes.
They're coming into your farm and
Yes, and if we weren't breeding the animals in the first place, they wouldn't need to protect them from the foxes.
No, I'm not sure about that. I mean, if you go into the Midlands, for example, and you go to sheep farms,
yes,
you'll find sheep farming all over the Midlands, up to the Peak District, and farmers are being harassed by animals.
Yes, and like I just said,
one way of dealing with the animals is to shoot the foxes.
Like I just said, if we weren't breeding the sheep, they wouldn't need to kill the fox to protect the sheep.
Yes, but people eat meat.
I'm aware of that.
Morality applies only to people who
That's not true. That's not true.
Only to people who have speech.
That's not true.
He can speak, I can speak.
Some
so
humans cannot speak.
And with the rest of us, require the rest of us to behave towards that person who can't speak in the same way as the rest of us.
But you just said morality only counts the people who can speak.
All right, okay. I didn't mean all people. I meant most.
So whether they can speak is irrelevant to whether they have moral value.
It's exactly relevant.
No, because some humans cannot speak and they still have moral value.
And we give them the same moral rights as everybody else.
Right. So you agree with me in saying the fact that whether someone can speak or not isn't relevant in whether they have moral value because some people can't speak and they have moral value.
No, we speak on their behalf.
And some people, yes, right. So they can't speak and they still have moral value.
They could speak, but for some reason, some medical reason, they can't speak. So we speak on their behalf. It's not for an unnecessary reason. If we want to eat it,
right. What's the definition? The definition of necessary is I need to. Okay. So I don't.
No, not entirely.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I want to.
No, that's not a necessity. I want an ice cream. It's not a necessity to get an ice cream.
Well, go on then.
It's a fact. You can look at the definition of unnecessary. If it's necessary, we need to. If it's unnecessary, we don't need to. We might still want to. So it's not a necessity to kill an animal. It's a desire, and there's a difference.